Show you today how to go over a mini split and just basic key features of how you would service it for the spring service or fall service, your annual service, and maybe how to even change out a few key components that you would have issues with in the future. Basically all you do, first thing you need to do is remove your front panel here. This whole thing, no matter whose it is, whoever's make, model, whatever, they all basically come off the same way. The top generally has clips, and then you have some screws which may be located up under the cover. You know, sometimes there might be 3 or 4 screws located up under the cover. On this particular model here, all we would do is, it's just got 3 screws and the rest clips. We have a screw here, here, and here. This particular model is a Ductless Air 12,000 is the model of this one. So basically we would just take these 3 Phillips head screws out, and then we would pull the cover from the top up and then replace it the same way. And also you want to look for any LCDs. This one has an actual LCD on the front panel. We'd take these 2 Phillips head screws here out, and the LCD would just unclip, and we would just let it hang to the side until we get that front cover off. So I'm going to take that cover off now, and then I'll show you some components in it and what you need to know about servicing these machines. Now I got the front cover off, I'm going to show you exactly how to remove the drain pan to service it. Would be to just pull 2 screws. There's 2 screws out the side here, one here and one at the top, and you can pull those up and make you have real good access to the blower wheel. And during the service you can just check it forward and backwards. Make sure you don't have any play. If you do have play, it's quite possible the blower motor where the set screw is, it might have came loose. You might have some vibration. Also, you can shine your light in here real good and actually see the blower wheel. Make sure there's no it has clips on the blower wheel for balancing. Make sure the clips hadn't come off. If you got a vibration problem, make sure there's not too much buildup of dirt and dust and stuff like that on there. And also, it makes it easier to get the drain pan off. So generally what I do is I just kick it up just a little bit, and the drain pan, once you have the front cover off, it's very simple. Just grab the bottom. You have 2 clips right here at the bottom. You just pull up on the clips, and then the drain pan will just unsnap, just like that. And with the coil up, the coil's not sitting in the pan, so it makes it real easy to do. And these things are made to be service friendly. Ductlessaire does a real good job about that. And you can see the coil sits right in this tray here, and it's very shallow. So it doesn't take much to get in there and cause a condensate issue over time. So what you want to do is you want to brush this out real good, keep it good and clean. If you got excess dirt in there or algae, get you a little bit of Clorox on a rag, wipe it all out. Just make sure it's good and clean. And you shouldn't have to do it real often. And it's about 4 or 5 wires here. Don't pull on it, and it should be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about unhooking anything. Let me show you the set. I want to show you also the set screw for the blower motor. If we can get this wire around here. Right in this hole right here, coming around is, hope you can see that in there, is the set screw for the blower motor. So if this wheel was to come loose or vibrate over time, you basically just get a Phillips head screwdriver and get right in there and access your blower motor wheel. So really that's pretty basic. And the bearing for the blower motor is here. Let me back it up so you can see. The bearing for the blower motor is right here. So gives you an idea of where the bearing is. The bearings generally don't cause any trouble on most of these machines. Typically, you might find one here or there, that's real old that might not ever been serviced. And they also have a small pinhole right inside the bearing. It's a little rubber bushing here, and that's made to lubricate the bearing. So, when you're doing your annual service, you want to go in there, and you don't want to put much, just a little bit of white lube grease, some type of lubricant to put in there on that bearing, because these machines are made to run 24 hours a day as long as they're in the own mode. And let's see what else I need to show you. I can show you the control board. Control board assembly is in this housing here. Basically, it's just two Phillips head screws. One screw there, one screw here, and now the cover plate comes off. Control board's accessible, and this control board does everything on this machine. If you have to service it, you have lightning. Generally, lightning is one of the biggest killers. Lightning and not installing correctly on initial startup is generally the biggest killer. Basically, the control board would just slide right out, just like that. There is a fuse. It's covered on the back side here on the control board itself. So it is a fuse on it. Some of them soldered in, some of them snap in. But the soldered in fuse, once they're blown, you have to take it to an electronic shop and have them, solder a new one in. But a lot of times, if they've blown the fuse, you've already blown the board. It just keeps it from burning and frying. So anyway, that's about it for the board. If you do have to replace it, the sensor wires generally are glued in, and you just take a razor knife, cut the glue, and they'll pull right off, and you can snap them right back into your other one. Other than that, the only other thing you really could do to this machine is if you had a blower motor fail, and basically all these machines are the same as far as how they're set up. Control board's on the right, coils in the middle, drain pans here. So this procedure, it might be a little bit different how things unsnap, maybe where a screw is, but it's still the same. So it will work on any basic model that you want to service and clean. But anyway, if you want to replace the blower motor, this whole assembly will come out. This screw and this whole black assembly will come out of here. Now you have a cover that holds the blower motor in. So basically you pull this housing off this motor itself, and you pull that out, undo your set screw that I showed you earlier, and that whole motor will actually just come right out of there. So it's very simple to do. Only other thing we have is temperature sensors. You have a coil temperature sensor, which is right here. So if you have a code for a coil temperature, look on your coil itself. You should have a sensor somewhere that's actually secured to your coil. And then this would be what you're looking for. Other one, it'd be your ambient temperature sensor. That's your, that basically tells your remote doesn't really tell the temperature. Basically, the temperature is told on the machine itself. So this is your ambient temperature. So if you got it set on 72, that's what this sensor right here is looking for. It's looking for that air coming back across the coil, hitting that sensor, and then going back down. And you also have this sensor here on the 13 series, that's your outdoor thermistor sensor. So that's what that is. So it tells defrost temperature, that kind of stuff. And if you don't have it plugged in, it's going to throw, I think it's on this model, it's an E1 code. So E1 basically means these two wires are open. So if you were to ohm it, it would show an open circuit somewhere in that fault code. And to put it back together is basically real simple. All you do, just put your drain pan back up in there. Once you got it clean, snap the two bottom snaps, and that's it. Drain pan's back in. We'll put our coil back down, put our two screws in it, and that's really all it is to servicing it. But you want to make sure you're familiar with the machines before you do it, because if you manhandle any of this stuff or you're real hard on it, some of these black plastic clips and stuff can break, and that's not a replacement type part. So you want to make sure you know what you're doing, or study up on it real good, and don't force anything. This stuff comes apart really easily, and you know, if you're not familiar with it, just take your time with it, and once you do one or two, you'll notice basically all you're doing on all of them, no matter whether it's what brand it is, all of them basically put together about the same. So anyway, I hope that